Gurian.
Logo. Okay, good. Yeah. That they all yeah, Shabasuya. One more. Near the Savan Tongum, they also do. So do Tashi Bagdula. Are you there? Oh, there you are. Annie. What do you know? Introduction number. Introduce yourself. You are sitting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kawaii, that's the God the last. There one.
Wanda. Naming letter city.
Tashi on Annie. Shusa Fridley. Shusa Kaware.
Fridley.
Le. Amla say.
Auntie Amati Mingla. Amati.
Amakandela.
Nishime.
Amla Mishime.
Pepela Nishime.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we have given enough time. So let's begin. So today, first, I want you to talk about on the screen. What does it say? Progress. Oh, sorry. What went well today? Oops. What went well today for you? Let me just reduce this. What went for you? What went well for you today? Who wants to go first?
Me.
Okay.
What went well today is that I realized tomorrow is going to be an early release, and I get to go home at 12.
Who is speaking?
Karma.
Karma, where are you? Okay, Karma, okay.
I wasn't early. I realized it's early release on Thursday, so I can go home at 12, not 2.
But today is only Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's good to know it's only tomorrow. It's just tomorrow.
Just tomorrow. Okay, on just one night. Okay. Very good. Thank you. And now who else? Let me hear from you. Okay.
What went well for me today? What went well for me today is that we were doing a little test about math. And I got only one mistake.
Okay. So everything went well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, let's hear from one more person, and then we will. Okay, who wants to volunteer? Very good. You are now, more courageous. Okay, who hasn't spoken before? Let me see whether I can find anyone. Let me just go. How about Tenzin Weze?
Hello?
Hello, yeah.
That's it.
I don't see you.
Oh, my fault. Can you see me now?
Let me look for you. I am very slow with Zoom. Okay, yeah, I see you. Okay. So what went well for you today?
Singing until early release today. We can 그래 랍다 추정이와 투기를
알레 아니
아니 그 낭래창마 차인
알레
치차인
나레 참마 차위. Okay, so you are happy about that. Okay, so from this query, can you guess what topic we are going to talk about today? Of course, you can see my slide, isn't it?
Gratitude?
I shouldn't have shown this. I know you saw from my slide. That's cheating.
통계도.
Okay. Okay, good. So now let me minimize this. And then, so today we are going to talk about gratitude. Should we be thankful? So that's today's topic. Oops. So what is gratitude? What do you understand by gratitude? So gratitude generally means...
Gratitude is being happy about something.
Okay, being happy about something, being thankful. So here the scientific definition is an acknowledgement of the good things in one's life and a recognition of its sources, such as the contribution of others. So there are two parts. So generally it is acknowledgement of either good things that has happened or that is happening in your life. And then also we acknowledge others' role in enabling that good things in our life. So it's like recognition of its sources. So if you receive kindness from another person, if somebody has offered you, I don't know, health, whatever you are in need, if that is provided. So we acknowledge that. So that is the definition of gratitude or being thankful. So there are two types: targeted gratitude, the gratitude towards the benefactor, whoever. So it could be your teacher, it could be your parents, it could be your brothers, it could be your sisters, it could be your friends. And then we have something called propositional gratitude. So gratitude that something exists or happen. So you are grateful that, today was a great day. You are grateful that, you had a nice place to live. You are grateful, or you acknowledge that you have a good health. You are not ill. So that kind of situation, that kind of condition, that is the other form of gratitude. So now, why is cultivating gratitude important? You hear all the time the elders say that, hey, you must show gratitude. You must show appreciation. You must be thankful for this and that. Why do they say that? Why do we need to cultivate gratitude? So there are many reasons. One main reason is that, as we discussed in the first class, that we all aspire to is to be happy. Nobody wants to experience unhappiness. Do any of you want to experience misery and unhappy? You don't, isn't it? You all want to be happy. So when we seek happiness, so there are...
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why we always chase after happiness. We do all kinds of things so that we will be happy, so that we can avoid experiencing unpleasant situations. However, we often are confronted with disappointment, and therefore unhappy. Despite our desire, our wish to be happy, we most of the time ends up encountering dissatisfaction, disappointment. So one reason why we encounter such disappointment is because of our greed. So greed is the one that is one of the troublemakers, the culprit that give rise to unhappiness. Remember, in our first class, we talked about the two-prong approach. So I always tie this back to that approach. Because on the one hand, we need to reduce the emotions or things that give rise to unhappiness or suffering. And then on the other hand, we need to develop or cultivate the emotions or factors that give rise to happiness. So here it is same. So greed is the one. So you understand what greed is. Greed is this, the mind that desires, what do you call it, unsatiably. So there is no limit, always wanting something, wanting more. That is greed. You have a very good working iPhone, but when you see another newer version, you want that. That is greed. Of course, if your existing phone is spoiled and it does not function, then of course it is understandable that you want to get another one. While the present one is working fine, if you want another one, the newer version, that means that your greed is in the play. Same goes with everything. I don't know about this Xbox. So if there's a newer version of Xbox, despite your current one working fine, you want to upgrade. That is all the work of greed. So when we have greed, then we will be met with so many disappointments, because it is impossible to fulfill all our desires. So that's why the antidote to greed is contentment, and contentment plays a critical role in countering the greed, which is the source of disappointment. So when we have this greed, what happens is it creates this have and want discrepancy, which is the cause of disappointment and happiness. So because we want this, but we have only that one. We want iPhone, 13, but we have only budget for iPhone, 6, 7, 8. We want the latest Xbox, but our budget is only for the, the Xbox, whatever that is. You cannot afford. It goes with everything, even with clothes, shoes, pair of shoes. So as long as we have this greed, as long as we are unable to tame or curb our greed, they will always have this discrepancy. Because of that, we will be unhappy. So the one solution to remove that source of unhappiness is through cultivating the state of contentment. So that is why it is important to cultivate gratitude. So cultivating gratitude is not difficult. There are so many things that we can be grateful of. The only problem is we don't look towards that direction. And also what happens is, if we don't have this sense of contentment, then it is like drinking salt water. I think I mentioned that before. When you drink salty water, what happens? You become more thirsty. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. So this is same with desire. So let's watch this for the sake of those who have not seen this before. Those those you who have been from the beginning have already watched this, but we may have newcomers. So this is the problem of our desire. Oops.
काश मैं एक हेलीकॉप्टर खरीद सकता। वाओ, कितनी प्यारी स्पोर्ट्स कार है। काश ये गाड़ी में अफोर्ड कर सकता। Man, I wish I had a car too. यार, काश मैं एक साइकिल खरीद सकता। काश मेरे पैर सलामत होते और मैं चल सकता।
So what can you tell from this? What is the lesson here?
Always
be grateful.
So what do you see in the picture, in the that clip?
I saw that everyone wanted everyone else's stuff.
Exactly.
When the man walked past the guy with the wheelchair, he wished that his legs were strong enough to go and walk.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody? Anybody wants to add in anything anymore? No? Okay. So in the clip, you see that people fail to realize how lucky they are. For example, the guy who is driving that sports car. Sports cars are very expensive. And that sport car really, cool looking. But he is not satisfied with that. He is already desiring for something else. And then the next guy, even though he has a decent car, but he's already eyeing the sports car. So that's what happens. The more you have, if you fail to have the contentment, if you fail to realize how fortunate you are to have this and that, then there is always something to aim for. there is always something to desire for. And then there's no guarantee that you will get that thing. Even if you get thing, there is something else to target for. So because of that, you will be disappointed. And then when you get, of course, when you get, what do you call, when you finally graduate and when you started to work, so if you have so much greed, then you will become a slave to work. Because in order to get all this, you need to have money. Nobody gives this freely. And if you try to steal, of course, you will end up in prison. So you have to have the money. And money does not fall from the sky. You have to earn it. You have to work it. And then you will end up doing, I don't know, 10 hours, 12 hours of work. And you hardly will have time to enjoy your life and do meaningful things. So you just became a slave. You just became what you call money-making machine. And despite that, you won't be happy. If you are happy, of course, it is worth committing to work. But then when you get something else, there is something else to get now. So it becomes endless. It becomes what is called vicious circle. So that's why it is important to always happy with what you have. So to illustrate this point, what do you see on this piece of paper? So let's say maybe you have heard, oops, sorry. You may have seen this clip. But here, this is a piece of paper with a dot. So if you are asked to write about what you see here, what would you say? So let me just ask you, what do you see on this piece of paper?
I see a dot.
Mm-hmm. So if this is your exam, you are given this as an exam paper. So write about what you see here. So what can you write about this? What would you write? Where are the teens? Where are the teens?
I saw a medium-sized black dot.
Okay, so what would you write?
I would write, I see a medium-sized black dot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is what happened. So one day our teacher came into the class and it's the exam day. So everybody was given this piece of paper. So when the teacher said, okay, start. So when they flip the piece of paper, expecting to see a number of questions, what they found was just an empty paper. And then there was a tiny dot. And the instruction was to write about what you see. So everybody, of course, first they were like in disbelief, but teacher was serious about it. So everybody wrote something. And when teacher read everybody's essay, everybody wrote about the tiny dot, black dot. Nobody wrote about this whole empty white space. So what does that tell us? So this is our tendency. In our life, there are so many good things happen to us. But we only focus on the bad things that happen to us. People may have been kind to us 1,000 times, but when that person does one mistake, we only remember that. Like today, how many good things happen to you? But if something bad happened to you, you will be unhappy. Evening, you will be unhappy, and only you will remember what went wrong today, instead of thinking about what went right. So many things went well this morning. First of all, when you open your eyes, you are alive. That's the best part. You hear about stories that in the morning they found people dead in their bed. But you woke up, you were alive. Some people woke up with headache, some sickness, down with flu, and especially these days with COVID. But you woke up with no ailments. You woke up healthily. And then I guess you all had breakfast this morning. But how many people are there in this world who cannot afford breakfast? Some people live on one meal. Even those who can afford, like your parents, they don't have time to enjoy breakfast. Many people just rush with, I don't know, a fruit or whatever, especially if they have a chok. They will run to work with the chok in their hand and then eating that while driving. But those of us, especially I had a very good breakfast. And then going to school, how easy was that? Were you stuck in the traffic jam? In the world, there are places where, even though distance is like 15 minutes drive, they get stuck in the traffic jam for hours. And then you were driven, I guess you all were driven by your parents or by the school bus. Then you had your lunch. And now you are tuning into this in a very cozy house. Despite it is freezing outside, the place where you are now is well heated. So we fail to notice all this. We fail to acknowledge, we fail to see. We only focus on what went wrong. That's why I asked you at the beginning of the class, what went well for today, for you today? So if we look out for all the good things that happen to us on the daily basis, it would be countless. So let's
I'm really disappointed we're not going to have our own comic book store.
No, I was looking forward to it.
It'd have been so nice to have a place that was ours, so we could just sit and read comics in peace.
With comfy seats and snacks.
I guess it was too good to be true.
Yeah,
You see, this is, even though it's a comedy show, this really depicts how we think. We have everything, but we fail to notice that. We fail to appreciate. We have a perfectly nice house, but we always want something better. So that's why it is so important to really look at the good things, things that we are grateful for, things that we are happy for. There are so many things to appreciate in our life. If we do so, we will be much happier. Our grumble, our complaint will drop markedly. So when it comes to benefit, I wanted to share with you my story. So this is me in 2016, when I graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology. So I am showing this not because I wanted to promote myself. This is not to praise myself, but this is to show how gratitude plays a role. So I was fresh from monastery. So in Malaysia, this is Malaysia, in Asian countries, to do psychology is considered quite a tough subject. And those who didn't get into medical schools, they will choose to do the psychology as the second, what you call fallback plan. So those who are my classes, most of them are very smart students. And I'm freshly from monastery. And my English was very, very weak. And this degree, psychology degree, is very tough actually. But after 3.5 years, I graduated. So normally this is a 4 years degree, but because we have 3 semesters in a year, we have 2 long semesters and 1 short semester. So we are able to finish in 3 years. So it was like unimaginable that I graduated, and with quite a colorful result. So I started to think, how did I do that? How was I able to do well in this degree, despite my different, background? Just to give you an example, in the class, when we were taking this statistic class, they talk about the mean, medium, and what else? Average, all this. I don't know how to get all this. I didn't even know what this means.
I know.
Yes, you see, you know, but I didn't know. And then one day they were talking about, what was that one? So one of the great singer, and the lecturer was giving example of that. And I was like, what is this? And then my classmate explained to me that she is a famous singer. So that's just to show how backward I was when I first went to do. But I managed to keep up with them and finally graduate. So when I think back, what is the key factor here for my accomplishment or my success, I realized that it is the gratitude that I felt. Because I felt so fortunate to have this opportunity. So in America, you don't realize that how fortunate you are even to get into school and also later to get into university. For monks like me, it is so difficult to get admission to university because we don't have the conventional certificates. We didn't do what you call the high school and all that. Because we don't have these certificates, and no university accepts us. In monastery, we study the Buddhist philosophy for 20, 30 years. And we have a certificate for that, but nobody acknowledges that. Nobody recognizes that. So it is so hard for me to get into university. It was so difficult. I had to produce avalanche of documents. Even then, they were not satisfied. Until I had the very strong letter from the University of Stanford, one of the professors issued that letter, and finally they agreed. So just to get admission, it took so much effort and so much work. But here for you, it's just a matter of which university you go. To get into university, to get admission is not an issue at all. But for me, it was, and for all the monks, it would be. So then, even when you get into a university, the tuition fees are enormously high. I am a monk. Where can I have the money, even if I get admission? But I was so lucky. I got full scholarship. So I have 3 reasons to be grateful for. First of all, in monastery at that time, we have thousands of monks, and at that time, only a handful of monks can speak English. And I was one of the very few. So that's one reason. Secondly, it is so difficult for monks to get into admission into university. But I was one of the lucky ones to get. And thirdly, tuition fees are expensive. But I got scholarship. So I think in the process of doing all this in 3 years, I think I was propelled by this, that this is such a great opportunity that I got. I should not waste. I must put effort. So that's why I worked so hard. I did not achieve this degree because of my smartness. I'm not smart at all. But it is the sheer, what you call the perseverance, sheer effort that is driven by gratitude. So if we are able to see how lucky we have the opportunity, when you look around other countries, there are so many people who didn't have the opportunity to study. And you can look at your parents. Many of your parents, they didn't have the opportunity to study. That's why they struggle in America when it comes to communicating in English and all that. And then because they didn't have the degree, it's also difficult to get what you call well-paying job or those office jobs. Even though your parents didn't have that opportunity to study, but you all have. And they are ensuring that they are making sure that you have the opportunity. So in that sense, we should all feel, you should all feel, oh, we are so lucky. Otherwise, we take it for granted. It is just our entitlement. It is not. So what I'm saying is, if you are able to appreciate right now that you have this opportunity to go to school and to get a degree, your attitude towards studying will change. You will put effort, and you will really put effort from your heart, not because your parents are telling you to do, not because your teachers are telling you to do. It's just because that you see how lucky you are. Imagine if you were born in other country, Africa, would you be able to have this kind of opportunity? Even in India, some of you have been to India. So compared to all this, you are really, really fortunate. So it is important to realize that. So this is the benefit based on my own experience. Then the research says all this. Gratitude through acknowledging one's blessing can promote happiness. So they have carried out studies, they have conducted experiments, they did research, and also these research are what is called the replicable. It's not just one study. They repeat the study again and again. They find the same finding, that acknowledging one's blessings or one's positive situation can promote happiness. And this is another famous study. There is experimental research. So they put people in 3 groups. One group is asked to list just 5 things. Another, the first, let's say group A, those in the group A were asked to list 5 positive things, like what we did in the beginning, what went well for you, what you are grateful for. So you write down 5 things every day for 10 weeks. And then those in the group B, hassle things that you are not happy about, to write down 5 things. And then we have another group that just lists anything. They are not, they don't need to focus on anything particular. They just write anything that they want to. And after 10 weeks, the results showed that those who are in the gratitude list has increased their happiness level, substantially. So this shows that gratitude can increase. And one easy experiment they carried out is just to write down 5 things. Not only, you don't have to write every day. It's like every week, just write down 5 things that you are happy for, that you are grateful for. And that also showed that those who did that, their gratitude, their happiness level has gone up. So these are based on research findings. So let's just watch this. This one, I couldn't bring this in. So let's watch this one.
Shut up. What? Wait, wait.
I was gonna be so embarrassed.
What makes you happy? Having fun? Hanging out with friends? Delicious food? Making money? Well, consider this. Psychologists have scientifically proven that one of the greatest contributing factors to overall happiness in your life is how much gratitude you show. Yeah, think about that. Go ahead and marinate on it for a second. You can thank me later if you want. It'll make you feel better according to this study. You go ahead and click on it and read it if you want. Or you can keep watching because we read it. We thought it might be fun to test out for ourselves. We gathered a selection of volunteers to act as our subjects. First, we gave them a test. They didn't know what we were looking for, but it gave us a pretty good idea of their current level of happiness. We asked them to close their eyes and think of somebody who was really influential in their life, somebody who did something really amazing or important for them. We had them write down as much as they could about why this person was so important. Now, a lot of them thought at this point the experiment was over until we really put them on the spot and tried to get them to call that person and read what they wrote about them. Thank you, Jessica. We're gonna have you call your mother. So who is that right person for you?
Person is my sister, Erica.
We're gonna give Erica a call.
Okay.
Who'd you end up picking?
Friend of mine, Craig Ains.
Her name is Dora.
My college accounting instructor.
Really? Is this somebody you're still in touch with today?
No, I'm assuming that he's passed on.
That's a
to the
shame.
great beyond.
You up for it?
Yes.
What would you say if we called up Dora?
Oh, we can try, but she lives in Britain.
In Britain?
I don't know number by heart, dude. This is awful.
That's fine. I don't know my mom's number by heart.
If it's true that those who are going on are looking down on us, maybe he read my chicken scratch.
Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes.
You got a second? Where you at, in the hotel?
I am. I'm in the hotel. You scared me when you asked if I had a second
No.
or something's wrong.
No, I'm on like this little TV show, and they told me to talk about the person that influenced me the most, and I picked you, and they're making me call you. They're making me call you.
Oh, wonderful.
Hi, you've reached Craig. I'm not here right now.
At the tone, please record your message.
Oh, come on.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Erica, it's me.
All right, so I got to read you this paragraph. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead,
All right.
sweetheart.
All right. The person that influenced me the most would be my mother, Marlo Dawson. She is a single mother of 2. She is a very hard worker and dedicated to her family.
Hey, Craig, this is Loie. This is going to be a funny little voicemail, so I hope you enjoy it.
I'm so sorry for calling you at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I have to read this to you, okay? And you can't say anything, or I don't know. You can respond, but I probably will just keep going. Okay?
Is everything okay?
Yes, but I have to read this out loud to you.
The person who has had the biggest impact on my life outside of Jesus Christ, who is responsible for my existence, was my college accounting instructor. He had a joy and enthusiasm for his job like no other teacher I have ever known.
I love her to death, and she keeps me going with positive talk. She is a woman that knows what she wants and won't give up until it is achieved.
Oh, something. I don't know what I'm about to cry because it's so beautiful. I have to say that it's wonderful.
I first met Craig on an independent feature film set in Whitefish, Montana. I recently have been sending Craig a lot of positive thoughts as he suffered a series of health problems. Despite his medical problems, he's continued to work and take pleasure in the small things in life, like sitting quietly with his wife, Janine, on the porch.
Erica is my older sister and my best friend. Sometimes it even feels like we are twins. She's my #1 fan and my #1 supporter. She makes me happy because despite all my mistakes and my decisions, she still loves me no matter what.
Your friendship is everything. And you are one of the most important person in my life.
Even when she has a kid and many children, I will love her more than her kids. Okay, maybe not. I will never forget when she flew 3,000 miles at the drop of a phone call to save me from a breakup.
I'm being blessed by having a son like you. I love you.
Bye.
Why did you do that to me?
I don't know, because they made me do it. Thank you for picking up. Bye, sweetie. And then they're like, here, you're gonna write this letter. And then I wrote like this whole long ass letter, which, you know, I like don't write. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, guess what? Now we're gonna call her and you're gonna read her this letter. And I was like, what the f?
Before we let them go, we gave our subjects one more happiness test. Now, we mixed up and rephrased the questions so they didn't know they were taking the same test twice. For those who took the time to actually write something down but couldn't make the phone call for whatever reason, we saw happiness increase between 2 and 4%. Good, but not exactly mind-blowing. Now, for those who actually picked up the phone and personally expressed their gratitude, we saw increases between 4 and 19%. So either way, expressing your gratitude will make you a happier person. But you want to know something really interesting? The person who experienced the biggest jump in happiness was the least happy person who walked in the door. What does that mean? That means if you're having a particularly tough time, trying this out will more likely have a greater impact on you. Trust me, I'm in a lab coat. In fact, while you're
So what do you think? What is the research finding?
That was really
Expressing your gratitude makes you more happy.
that was
Yep.
kind of very surprising to me of the chart that he gave it to us.
Mm.
And when I noticed some people when they were talking on the phone, they just got happier when they picked up.
Mm.
And then they just got happy when they were writing the note.
Mhm.
But when they said, okay, now we're gonna call them, it made them more happy. But then and then when the person picked up, it made them the most happy.
Yes. Yes, the whole idea here, you see, first of all, when you express your gratitude to the person, that makes the other person, sure, that makes the other person happy. But surprising finding is that it makes you, one who expresses the gratitude, even happier. So what does this suggest? It suggests that we should always try to express our gratitude, because doing that will make us happier. Of course, it will make the other person happier, but most importantly, it will make us more happy. If we want to be a selfish, then what His Holiness always advised, to be a wisely selfish person. So this is how you can apply that, being selfishly wise. So if you are really grateful for somebody, to your sisters, to your brothers, to your uncle, aunt, to your father, to your mother, to your teacher, to your, grandparents, it is good to express that, because it gives you joy. It brings you happiness. Okay, next time when you see your friends or grandparents or friend, whoever, remember to express your gratitude. But you have to be specific about why you are grateful to that person. So other research findings includes this: grateful people are more agreeable, more open, and less neurotic and depressive. So if you are more agreeable, you will be included in more groups. You will find more friends. If you are disagreeable all the time, then everybody doesn't want to do anything with you. They will always exclude you. And then, of course, depression Depression is when you see the world in black or darkness. Everything is gloomy. But when you are able to, cultivate gratitude, then there are more reasons for you to be happy rather than to be unhappy and gloomy. So because of that, it contributes positively to our well-being. And then relationship. People who express their gratitude tend to be more willing to forgive. So forgiveness is a very big thing. Only a courageous person can forgive another person's mistake. Sometimes we feel that, by not forgiving, it's like we are harming the other person. But in reality, it is the other way around. If you don't forgive and if you hold the grudge, who suffers? One who is begrudged, one who is holding that grudge suffers. The other person does not. So that's why the more you are willing to forgive, the happier you will be. And that is also influenced by how grateful you are or how much you express gratitude. And then this find, remind, bind theory. So if you are a person who is able to, acknowledge positive things in your life, then you can apply this theory, that this functions to help people find new friendship. You will be able to find new friendship. Not only you will be able to find new friends, but you will be able to appreciate that existing friendship and thereby make your relationship stronger. So you can see from all these research findings that gratitude is a really good thing to do. So the question is, how should we do? So first is focus on what one has. First thing is you must look at what you have. You must count your blessings. I have this, I have this, I have that. And then focus on what has not happened to us. Many things could have happened. Today at school, many, negative things could have happened. You could have been bullied. Some of your classmates could have been rude to you. Something could have happened on the way to school. You could have met with an accident. Nowadays, this school shooting is a common thing. Such thing could have happened to you, but it didn't happen today. So it's, I'm so grateful that such things did not happen. And then recognition of interdependence. How we are all interrelated. How we are dependent on others. For example, the clothes that you are wearing right now. If we don't examine or think deeply, we think that, it is my parents bought it. It's our money that enabled to have this. But when you think closely, how many people are involved in producing that, let's say, sweater or jacket? From the material, first, where did the material come from? How many people were involved in this? After that, in the factory, how many people were involved in making that? Then once it is already produced in the factory, how many people were involved in transporting that to a retailer or wherever? Even from Amazon, if you bought it, how many people are working in the Amazon? How many people are involved? How many people are involved in the delivery? So there are so many involved. For your bus driver, for you to go to the school, how many people are involved? Those people who work in the office, whom you feel no connection at all. You may feel a connection with your teacher, but you feel that the clerk or the whoever, the accountant there is like, they don't play a role, but they do. They are the ones who are running the school. They are the ones who make sure that you have this bus driver, you have the bus arrive on time. And then janitor, who cleans the school, the area, who cleans your toilet. So without all the others' kindness, we cannot survive. We are nobody. So it is important to recognize that. When we see that others' role in our happiness, then we will become more appreciative of other people. As a result, our interaction with other people will be an improved one. We will be much nicer to them. So I live in Maple Grove. So there is no the usual public transport. But Maple Grove has this called My Ride. So you can book the ride and they will come to pick you up and then drop you at your destination. And then you can also arrange them to pick you up from that. So when I go to do grocery marketing, I use that. And I'm so grateful for the driver. So every time, almost every time, when I sit down, I always pray for them. Because I know that if they did not take this job, even the city wants to have this kind of service, they cannot run the service because there are no drivers who will take up this job. So it is so important that, to acknowledge other people's role in our happiness and in our life. So listen to this. Is a young boy, but so much wisdom.
It's the way you think. It's the way you produce. It's the way you create. You have to be creative. There's some people that may have one house and go, oh, I'm broke because I got one house. But there's another person that has two houses and they may feel like they're broke because they only have two houses. But there's another person who has less. There's some people who are like, oh, I'm poor because they have a harsh reality and they may have to go and eat out of the garbage can. But in another country, there's no garbage can to eat out of. So you have to value every single thing you have. You have to value every moment. So I could feel like, oh, I'm not in a big enough house, or I don't have the nicest car, or I don't have the coolest, newest phone. But there's someone in this world praying for the house that I may have, praying for the phone that I may have, praying for the things that I may have around me. Not just me, but people in general. So always keep that mindset and be appreciative of everything you have, every little thing, even life, basically. There's some people who, it's a person who didn't wake up this morning, it's a person who lost their family member, now they don't have life.
So just have a growth mindset.
Yeah, just have a growth mindset, my man, Kingston.
So don't you agree with this young man? So it is all about attitude. Remember what he said? There are other people who are praying for the phone that you are carrying. There are other people who are wishing to have a house like yours. There are other people who are praying to have a car like yours. So we must always remember, whenever this thought arises that, oh, I need to have this, I need to have that, always remember this young boy's wise advice. Always think that, oh, there are thousands, millions of people who are praying to have what I am going to throw now, my phone, for example. They don't have such phone. So they are praying hard to acquire the one that you are holding. But here you are not happy, you are not satisfied. You want a better one. So we must remember all this. So now there are some suggestions how to cultivate. So first one is, it's so easy, just saying thank you. If you received any kindness, just say thank you from heart. Not just because you have to say it. It's really say from your heart. Have some feeling. So if your parents, your father, mother, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your classmate, your friends, if they have done something nice to you, just from heart, say, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's not difficult saying thank you. And then the second one is write letter. If you have difficulty saying, then write it down. Why this person, you feel grateful to that person. Write down all the reasons and what that person did to you. Then you can either send the letter or you can read the letter the way they did in the experiment. It will make the other person happy. It will make you happy. And because you appreciated their help, the person will be willing to accord more help in the future. Because you are not the ungrateful person. From your own experience, if you help somebody and if the other person was ungrateful, does it make you want to help again? No. So saying thank you and sending a gratitude letter, these are ways to express your gratitude. Then keep a journal. Write down every day, keep a book there, and then write down all the small things, big things or small things that you are grateful for. Like if your mother cooked your favorite dish, that's something to be grateful. Even if just having a food is something to be grateful. I'm grateful that I have dinner. I have food to eat. I'm grateful that I have, I don't know, the juice to drink. I'm grateful that I have a nice bed to sleep on. I'm grateful that I have all these devices. So every day, if possible, before going to bed, count your blessings. What went well for today? And then generate that kind of satisfaction and rejoice. And feel that, oh, I'm so happy. I am the luckiest person. That way you will remain happy all the time. So what time is it?
7:16.
Okay, so I think I will skip this. I will skip this. So let's watch this. There's another called My Gratitude Jar. That is one way to do. You can write and keep, put in the jar. So let's watch this.
My Gratitude Jar. Written and illustrated by me, Kristen Weens. My teacher, Miss Lane, is always trying to make the world a better place. In the fall, our class visited a home for old people and read them our poems. In the spring, we planted flowers at the park near our school. And once a week, we go on litter patrol. Yuck. Miss Lane says it's important for everyone to do their part. One day at school, Miss Lane gave everyone a jar. This is your gratitude jar, she said. Gratitude means being thankful. It's a good idea to take time every day to remember to be grateful. You can be grateful for big things, like when you make a new friend. You can be grateful for little things, like when someone smiles at you. There is no right or wrong way to be grateful. Every day, we will take a few minutes to stop and pay attention to what we are grateful for at that moment. We will write it down and put it into our gratitude jar. Why are we making gratitude jars? I asked. Miss Lane said, there are two reasons. One reason is that when we take time to be grateful, we feel happier. What is the other reason? I asked. You will have to wait and see, she said. We spent the afternoon decorating our jars. I put blue polka dots all over mine. The next day, we all wrote down something we were grateful for. I asked Miss Lane again, what is the other reason for our gratitude jars? She said, wait and see. In a few weeks, our gratitude jars were full of things we were thankful for. Most days, I wrote down one thing. Some days I wrote down two. One day, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. It was a very good day. I asked Miss Lane again, what is the second reason for our gratitude jars? She said, wait and see. I am grateful I found a quarter on the ground. I am grateful I got an invitation to Benjamin's birthday party. I am grateful we can play soccer outside at lunch. A few days later, I had a very bad day. When I got out of bed, I stepped right on top of the castle that I had built the night before. It hurt a lot and wrecked the castle. I spilled my oatmeal all over the kitchen floor. I had to clean it up all by myself. We were out of my favorite bubblegum flavored toothpaste. I had to use the mint kind. The mint kind hurts my mouth. Then my brother called me shrimp. I hate it when he calls me shrimp.
That's mean.
When I got to school, I was grumpy. When I got my gratitude jar, I had nothing to write. Now Miss Lane would be mad. Now my day would get worse. I needed a complaint jar, not a gratitude jar. There is nothing to be thankful for today, I told Miss Lane. I am not grateful for this morning. I am not grateful for school. And I am certainly not grateful for my brother. It sounds like you had a rough start to your day, said Miss Lane. Some days are like that. So today is the day you get to learn the second reason for your gratitude jar. Even though I was grumpy, I still wanted to know the second reason. Miss Lane said, today, instead of writing a new gratitude, you get to open your jar and read all of the gratitudes you have already written. That's it? That's the other reason? That doesn't seem very important. Try it and see. Before you open your jar, you might want to take a few deep breaths. When I have a bad day, taking a few deep breaths always helps. It makes me feel a bit calmer. See if it helps you too. I took a big breath in and slowly blew it out. I took a big breath in and slowly blew it out. I took a big breath in and slowly blew it out. I think it did help. I felt a little calmer. I opened my jar and took out the gratitudes one by one. I read them all. Then I started to understand the second reason. I felt less grumpy. I remembered that not all days were bad days. Lots of days were good days. The last note in the gratitude jar was not one that I had written. It was from Miss Lane. I am thankful for Jacob. He helps make the classroom a happier place. That made me smile. I picked up my pencil and began to write. I am grateful for my gratitude jar. And Miss Lane. The end.
So what is the second reason? What was the second reason?
So you could see what you're thankful for and become happy for that.
Yeah, that's the first reason, isn't it? The second reason is
So you can realize what you have already and like not grump over what you don't have.
that's one. But mainly, I think the second reason is that you realize that not all days are bad days. You may have one or two bad days, but when you read all that, you realize that most of your days were good days. So it is important to keep a gratitude jar so that when we have bad days, we can just open that jar and then read through. And it will make you happy, and also it will make you realize that not every day is a bad day. So you had so many great days, but some days, of course, cannot be helped. But it doesn't mean that, you should be so unhappy about it. So anyway, the quote here says, trade your expectations for appreciation and the world changes you. Instead of feeling having this entitlement, sense of entitlement. I should have this, I must have this, I'm entitled to this. If you are able to replace that with appreciation, then the world will change you. You will have greater happiness. Likewise, appreciate what you have before it becomes what you had. It's too late. So you must appreciate what you have. So that's for today. And I have a homework today. So this is, if you are good at numbers, if you like to do doing maths, then here it is.
That's me.
Okay, cultivate the number of hours your parents spend doing in one day. So first, these following. So how many hours do your parents spend on preparing meals for you? That's one. So at the side, you write down. And then how many hours or how many minutes or how long, they spend transporting you from one place to another place. So if you go to school, if you go to tuition, if you go to all these other places, then you have to include all that. And then at the side, you write down the number. And then how about doing laundry and providing clothes for you? And then other essential things, other things they spend on you. So you have all that number and then do the math. So each day is that hour. Then in 30 days total, how many hours your parents spends serving you, working for you, doing your things. And then you multiply that by 12 months. And then whatever age you are, if you are 8 years old, times that number and see. So you do this math and then you share with us the next time we meet. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's for today. Thank you. And I will see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
新年快乐！
아유, 진짜